Hold up, Fever fans. You might want to sit down for this one because what I'm about to tell you is going to make your blood boil. Stephanie White just exposed her master plan, and spoiler alert, Caitlin Clark isn't the star of the show. It's the Kelsey Mitchell experience, and we've got the receipts to prove it. You know what's wild? When you bring in a generational talent who single-handedly increased WNBA viewership by 400% in one season, you'd think the smart move would be to build around her, right? Wrong, at least according to Stephanie White, who apparently graduated from the School of How to Fumble a Dynasty 101. Picture this. Thursday night, Las Vegas Aces versus Indiana Fever. Kelsey Mitchell is having one of those nights where the basket might as well be in another zip code. She's 3 for 16, missing shots like she's allergic to scoring. And what does Stephanie White say to the media? The biggest thing with Kelsey is just telling her, let it fly, it's going to go. Let it fly, it's going to go. Can we talk about how she's never, and I mean never, said those words about Caitlin Clark? Not once. Not even when Clark was lighting up arenas and breaking attendance records left and right. Here's where it gets juicy. Remember when everyone was confused about why Kelsey Mitchell, who was a free agent, took forever to re-sign with the Fever? Well, now we know. She wasn't negotiating contracts. She was negotiating hierarchy. And baby, she won. Let me paint you a picture of what's really happening in Indianapolis. Caitlin Clark walks into practice, and it's like watching someone try to fit into a family photo where everyone's already decided where they're standing. You've got Stephanie White over here giving Mitchell the green light to shoot from the parking lot if she wants, while Clark gets the play within the system speech. And trust me, play within the system is just coach speak for know your place, rookie. The numbers don't lie, folks. Before Caitlin Clark showed up, the WNBA was growing at 40% year over year. Not bad, right? But with Clark, 400% growth. That's not improvement. That's a revolution. It would have taken the league until 2028 to reach the viewership Clark brought in a single season, but sure, let's prioritize the player who's been here longer because, seniority or whatever. Oh, and it gets better or worse, depending on how you look at it. May 21st, 2025. Mark that date. That's when Stephanie White made the coaching decision that had Fever fans ready to storm the court. Final seconds of the game against the Dream. Indiana's up by 1. And who does White sub out for defense? Not Kelsey Mitchell, who's been playing Matador defense all season. Nope, she pulls Caitlin Clark. The result? Mitchell fouls with 9 seconds left, and the Fever lose. The internet went absolutely nuclear, and rightfully so. If you're as fired up as we are about this situation, hit that subscribe button right now because we're just getting started with exposing what's really going on in Indianapolis. Here's what kills me. Clark came into this league already a superstar. Forbes literally named her one of the 100 most powerful women in the world. Not in basketball, not in sports, in the world. She's out here moving merchandise like she's running a Fortune 500 company, and Stephanie White is treating her like she needs to earn her stripes. Meanwhile, Mitchell shoots 8 for 24, and White's in the post-game presser talking about how she just needs to keep shooting. But when Clark takes those deep threes that literally made her famous, suddenly it's a problem. Suddenly it's hero ball. The hypocrisy is so thick you could cut it with a basketball. You want to know what's really happening here? This is about ego. This is about a coach who'd rather protect the feelings of her favorites than build a championship team. Because let's be real, Mitchell is talented. She can score, but she's not carrying a franchise into the future. She's not selling out arenas in cities that didn't even know they had WNBA teams. That's all Caitlin Clark. And the injury situation? Don't even get me started. Clark's been dealing with quad and groin injuries, missing multiple games in 2025. And what happens when she's out? Mitchell gets named Eastern Conference Player of the Week. Convenient timing, right? It's like they were waiting for Clark to be sidelined to showcase their real star. Here's a fun fact. When the coaching staff surprised Mitchell with the Player of the Week announcement at practice, she looked genuinely shocked. You know why? Because even she knows that in a world where basketball decisions are made based on merit, that award has Caitlin Clark's name written all over it 90% of the time. But wait, there's more. Remember when Stephanie White kept harping on about championship experience in her press conferences? She said it so many times that WNBA content creators were literally losing their minds on social media. One tweeted, "If Stephanie White says championship experience one more time in a press conference, I might lose it." You know what's funny about that? What championship experience does Kelsey Mitchell have? Zero. Zilch. Nada. She waited 7 years just to make her first playoff appearance. So this whole veterans know best narrative? It's nonsense. It's just code for I like this player better. The organization brought in players like Natasha Howard and Sydney Colson to add that precious championship experience. And you know what happened? They still finished the season bouncing around 500 like a pinball. Turns out experience without maximizing your best talent equals mediocrity. Who would have thought? Let me tell you about one of the most telling moments of this whole saga. In a recent interview, White was asked to send a motivational message to Mitchell after a rough shooting night. The interviewer literally fed her the line, saying anything like, "We still need you to keep shooting and keep going." And White, she went full analyst mode, critiquing Mitchell's footwork and balance. But then, she still ended with "keep shooting it from the outside." Can you imagine if Clark had gone 8 for 24? The postgame would have been a masterclass in passive-aggressive coaching. We'd hear about shot selection, playing within the flow, facilitating for teammates. But Mitchell, keep firing away, queen. What makes this even more painful is that all 3 players, Clark, Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston, made the All-Star team. Again, they have the talent, they have the star power. What they don't have is a coach who understands how to maximize it. And before anyone says, "Oh, but they need to develop chemistry," or "it takes time to build a system," let me remind you of something. The Miami Heat figured out how to play LeBron, Wade, and Bosh together in about 5 minutes. The Warriors figured out how to add Kevin Durant to Curry and Klay. Great coaches adapt to great talent. They don't force great talent to adapt to their mediocre systems. You know what the saddest part is? Caitlin Clark is still smiling, still signing autographs until her hand cramps, still giving diplomatic answers to reporters who are clearly fishing for drama, still showing up and producing despite being systematically minimized by her own coach. She's averaging over 18 points and almost 9 assists per game while missing half the season with injuries. Imagine what she could do if her coach actually wanted her to succeed. Meanwhile, Stephanie White is out here playing favorites, like this is a high school team where the coach's daughter has to start. Newsflash, this is professional basketball, this is a business. And right now, business is booming because of one player, and it ain't the one getting the green light to let it fly. Here's what's going to happen, and mark my words on this. Caitlin Clark is going to leave. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but eventually, she's going to get tired of being treated like a role player when she's a superstar. And when she does, when she signs with a team that actually appreciates what they have, the Indiana Fever are going to go from selling out arenas to giving away tickets with pizza purchases. They'll be stuck watching Kelsey Mitchell jack up contested threes while Caitlin Clark is somewhere else. Building an actual dynasty with a coach who understands that when you have Mozart, you don't tell him to play quieter so the triangle player feels included. The writing's on the wall, folks. When your coach is more concerned with protecting egos than winning games, when favoritism trumps talent, when system becomes more important than maximizing generational ability, you're not building a championship culture. You're building a museum for mediocrity. And listen, I'm not saying Kelsey Mitchell is a bad player. She's not. She's an all-star for a reason, but there's a difference between being a good player and being the player. There's a difference between someone who can score and someone who transforms franchises. Mitchell is the former, Clark is the latter. And the fact that Stephanie White can't see that, or worse, sees it and chooses to ignore it, that's basketball malpractice at its finest. If you want to see more breakdowns of what's really happening behind the scenes in the WNBA, make sure you hit that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts. Do you think Clark should leave Indiana? Let us know below. So here we are. The Indiana Fever have the face of the league, a player who turned their franchise from an afterthought into appointment television, and they're treating her like she's lucky to be there. They've got a coach who's more interested in making sure her favorites are happy than building a winner, and they've got a fan base that's watching this train wreck unfold in real time, powerless to stop it. Congratulations, Stephanie White. You've officially made this Kelsey Mitchell's team. Hope those empty seats don't echo too loud when Clark's gone and reality hits. Because when you had the sun and chose to dim it to protect your desk lamp, don't be surprised when you're left in the dark. The clock's ticking, Indiana. You can either wake up and realize what you have, or you can keep playing these games until Clark walks out the door, and when she does, when she's dropping 40-point games for someone else while you're fighting for the 8th seed, just remember, you had lightning in a bottle and you chose to put a lid on it. This is bigger than basketball. This is about recognizing greatness when it's standing right in front of you. And right now, the Indiana Fever are failing that test spectacularly.